For decades, we have been told a lie about our knees that is causing unnecessary pain and surgery for millions of people. And it is the idea that your joints are like car tires that inevitably wear down with every step you take until they go bald and need to be replaced. But the truth is actually much more hopeful and scientifically fascinating because your knees are living, breathing biological tissues that are constantly trying to repair themselves. And if you understand the specific changes happening in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, you can actually flip the switch from degeneration to regeneration and keep your knees healthy for your entire life. If you're starting to feel that stiffness when you get out of bed or a twinge when you take the stairs, please stick with me for this video because we are going to walk through the exact blueprint for knee longevity. And I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button so we can keep navigating your health journey together. Before we dive in, I want to be clear that everything I am sharing with you today is not just my opinion, but is grounded in rigorous clinical research and guidelines from top medical institutions. And I have listed all those trusted sources in the description below so you can verify the facts for yourself and feel confident in your care. We need to start by understanding the silent changes happening in your 40s because this is often the decade of invisible stiffening where you might not feel pain yet, but your meniscus, that shock absorbing washer in your knee, is undergoing a chemical change where sugars attach to proteins and make the tissue less pliable and more brittle, almost like a rubber band that's been left in the sun too long. This brittleness explains why so many people in their 40s suffer meniscus tears not from getting tackled in a football game, but from something as simple as squatting down to pick up a laundry basket or twisting to get out of a car, because the tissue has lost the elasticity it had in your 20s and snaps under normal tension. As we move into the 50s, the picture shifts dramatically, especially for women, because menopause is not just a reproductive event, but a major musculoskeletal event where the sudden drop in estrogen removes a natural anti-inflammatory shield from your joints, often causing cartilage to thin and pain signals to amplify even if x-rays look relatively normal. This is also the decade where we see the rise of what we call metabolic inflammation, where carrying a little extra weight around the middle isn't just a mechanical load on your knees, but actually acts like an active gland that releases inflammatory chemicals into your bloodstream that travel to your knees and eat away at the cartilage from the inside out. By the time we reach our 60s, the primary enemy changes again, shifting away from just biology and toward a vicious cycle we call the mobility trap, where you feel pain so you stop moving, and because you stop moving, your muscles waste away, a condition called sarcopenia, which removes the shock absorbers from your skeleton, transfers 100% of the impact of walking directly into your bone. However, and this is the most important concept you will learn today, your cartilage does not have a blood supply to deliver nutrients, so it relies entirely on a mechanism called the synovial pump, where the pressure of walking squeezes waste out, and the release of that pressure sucks nutrient-rich fluid back in, meaning that movement isn't just exercise, it is literally how your knees eat. This brings us to the biggest myth that keeps people paralyzed with fear, which is the idea that running or deep squatting will ruin your knees, when in fact, large-scale studies show that recreational runners actually have lower rates of osteoarthritis than sedentary people because that rhythmic loading stimulates the cartilage to become thicker and more robust, just like a callus forming to protect your skin. The same is true for squatting, but we have to correct a major mistake people make in the gym, which is the fear of letting their knees go past their toes. We now know that restricting this natural forward movement forces your hips and lower back to take on dangerous loads, whereas allowing your knees to travel forward naturally distributes the force evenly and keeps the joint healthy. So how do we translate this into a practical routine that you can do at home? We need to focus on 3 specific exercises that target the muscles most neglected in modern life. Starting with the straight leg raise, but you must do it correctly by completely locking your knee out first to engage the vastus medialis, that teardrop muscle on the inside of your thigh, before you lift your leg even an inch. Next, We have to wake up the glutes with the bridge exercise because if your glutes are weak, your pelvis drops when you walk and your knee collapses inward. But the key here is not to arch your back to get high, but to tuck your pelvis and drive through your heels so the work stays in your hips and doesn't pinch your spine. The third critical movement is the clamshell to target the side of your hip. But almost everyone cheats on this by rolling their entire pelvis backward to get the knee higher. So I want you to imagine there is a wall behind you preventing you from rolling, which will isolate that deep hip muscle that stabilizes your knee with every single step you take. Now, let's talk about fueling this repair process, because while no magic pill grows cartilage, there is a hierarchy of nutrition that matters, starting with the foundation of an anti-inflammatory diet that cuts out the refined sugars that stiffen your collagen, and adding in specific compounds like sulforaphane found in broccoli sprouts, which has been shown in lab studies to actually block the enzymes that chew up your cartilage. We also have to look at collagen peptides, which have moved from fringe science to having real evidence supporting their ability to reduce joint pain, likely by acting as signaling molecules that tell your joint cells it's time to build new tissue, but you have to be consistent with it for at least 3 to 6 months to see the benefit. Finally, we cannot ignore the role of sleep because we now have data showing that sleep deprivation creates a state of central sensitization where your brain turns up the volume on pain signals, meaning a knee with mild arthritis can feel excruciatingly painful simply because your nervous system is tired and inflamed. The message I want to leave you with is one of absolute empowerment because your knees are not destined to fail you. They are waiting for the right inputs, the right movement, the right fuel, and the right rest to serve you for the rest of your life. So start treating them like the regenerative organs they are. Thank you so much for giving me your time today. And if you found this helpful, please verify the science in the description below, where I've listed the sources from the CDC, NIH, and major rheumatology journals. And I'll see you in the next video.